action becomes the action. What is in the way becomes the way. Beth recited that quote often and would help her cope with the fear that she had grappling with below the surface of her life. She told Jennifer that her life's plan was to be a good person and to be that person for others. You've already heard it. You already know it. She was. She made it her mission. The impediment to action becomes the action. What is the way? What is in the way becomes the way. The obstacles we face, the moments of true intensity, it's within this experience, this struggle, where we unlock the very things we seek. For Beth's cancer, her cancer, that was in the way, just as it had been for her mother years prior. Her mother relied on her faith when cancer was in the way. Beth wanted the same, a true faith she could use when what was in the way becomes the way. Spoiler alert, she found it. Elizabeth Erickson was born at St. Mary's Hospital, just a stone's throw from where she lived and died. And she was born on February 16th, 1971. It does not take much to see the lights of the hospital from the house her parents lived in, she and David lived in when they were growing up, and Jennifer and Beth lived in. Beth drew her last breath in that house. Talk about coming full circle. Beth attended Livonia Public Schools, Hoover for elementary, Holmes for middle school, and finally graduated from Stevenson High School in 1989. Growing up in a family that loved music, she was lucky to be introduced to handbells, piano, vocal choir, and other instruments at an early age. She loved sports as well, especially soccer and swimming, and grew to love the behind-the-scenes work in high school theater after first trying acting. Miles and years apart, Beth and I shared a similar love for scenery development, lights, and sound in theater. Beth played piano and handbells up until middle school, when it was discovered she had fibrous dysplasia of the head and neck, a serious condition where bones are replaced by fibrous tissue, resulting in disfigurement and stress on other organs of the body. Immediately, the focus for Beth and her family was on her health, not her music. It was, as she said, a very scary time. A challenging condition, management of the symptoms of fibrous dysplasia, impacted Beth well into her 40s. For Beth, her medical diagnosis was not the only challenge in life. She knew she was gay by the 3rd grade, and while that may be less of an issue in today's world, it was a different story in the late 70s and 80s. She felt different and acted different, chased the girls, as she said, not the boys on the playground. Barb, her mother, was especially supportive of Beth and encouraged her into counseling, not for conversion therapy reasons. That destructive therapy was in its heyday then. But for reasons of wanting Beth to understand more fully who she was as a person. This was a mother taking care of a daughter. As the scripture says, where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. That beautiful scripture passage from the much-loved book of Ruth becomes a theme in Beth's life for years to come, whether she knew it or not. After high school, Beth tried college for a year at Grand Valley State University, majoring in, as she admitted, 40-ounce samplings of Mickey's malt liquor. She did not find the degree path helpful, however, long term. It was clearly party time, not education time for her, and well, she failed out. Lord knows it happens. But sometimes, and in Beth's case specifically, failure in one area opens the door in another. God does have a way of nudging us that way. Mrs. Carey, a neighbor across the street, introduced Beth to the idea of work in the medical field, especially the idea of getting technical certificate in radiology. Providence Hospital had a radiology school program, and Beth enrolled and loved it. The hands-on learning method was right up her alley. She learned the craft. She learned how to work as a team. She learned how to connect better with people, with patients, and this ability to relate to what a person is going through rather than just treating them as a case number. And that learning stayed with her all the days of her life. She told me the story of an AIDS victim. I'm sure some of you have heard the story. An AIDS victim early in the AIDS crisis had come in, and he'd come in seeking treatment. A co-worker of Beth said rudely, well, he deserved it. He deserved the AIDS. That co-worker had no sympathy for him. For Beth, as a woman self-identifying as a lesbian, this was a heartbreaking moment. But it was also a defining moment as it changed her view on working with people. As she said to me a few days before she died, she said, you can, unfortunately, be in healthcare and just not care. My coworker's harsh comment to that AIDS victim changed my life, she said. That way was not going to be my way. And Beth, as you know, cared deeply for people, cared deeply for one person and what they were going through for the rest of her life. The testimonies you all indicated earlier today show her care. From X-ray school, she moved into ultrasound technology, and then, as she cared so much for people and what they were experiencing physically, she enrolled in a massage therapy program, and we all know she was good. Beth had found her career niche, healthcare, and while it became clear from the many hospitals that she worked in, the clinics she worked in the Detroit area, that in radiology and ultrasound work paid the bills, care of people and quality care of people and compassionate care of people, that became her MO. Everywhere she went, that was her MO. She said becoming a certified X-ray tech and certified ultrasound tech were, as she told me, two of the proudest moments of her life. And there were a few others, I'm sure, as well. Beth eventually found the exact spot she needed to be in healthcare when she landed a per diem spot with GE Healthcare. She had dreamed she would get a job at GE, literally seeing herself with a GE badge in a dream that she had. And when the opportunity came along, she jumped